Hey, welcome to this edition of the A-Train Show, the A-Train Arlington Lane. It's my birthday. I'm grateful for everybody that has reached out to me and thankful for all of the birthday wishes. Hey, 38 years of age. I'm 38, grateful to see 38 because a lot of people that I've known either have not made it to 38 or we're dead at 38. So I'm grateful to make it to another year of life. So just totally grateful. I am so grateful today. Like, for real, you just don't know. I want to give special love out to especially my family back in St. Louis. I love y'all. My sister Kim, mom and dad. Hey Casey, how you doing? Little Kylie, I can't wait to see you. Your uncle loves you, and I got to rep my Cardinals too. Shout out to my people in Houston, especially the Greater New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. Robert L. Bailey is pastor. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. You don't know how much you've been an impact for me over the last year of my life. Today is actually the year anniversary of me joining the Praise Dome. So Praise Dome Nation, stand up. I love y'all, everyone over there. Shout out to Richard Pearson, Reagan and Ryan. Y'all have been there for me this last year, especially these last 6 months. For those that don't know, I have been away for quite some time, and I lost my love, Ivory Griffin, back on March 19th, and I've been garnered with so much love from everyone, and I appreciate it so much. I love y'all dearly, and the only way I could really get myself together was to get back to doing what I love to do, and that's doing this podcast. And I had to do a special edition today of the A-Train Show. Hey, if I missed y'all, just know I love you. I love you all. Like, real talk, cousins, aunts, uncles, family, friends. I love you. Hey, thank you. Thank you all for this birthday love that y'all giving me, man. You don't know how much it means to me. Because I've been emotional, and I even had to go to therapy, like straight up. I had to do therapy, and I'm not going to say her name. No, I can say it. Dr. Pace. Dr. Pace has been amazing. She has helped me out through these last few weeks and whatnot. And grateful for her to help me, get through this grieving process. I'm still grieving, but it's not a bother. I still have my moments. Some days I can be vulnerable. So those that are close to me, bear with me, all right? And continue to love me like you have been. And so I'm grateful and appreciative of that so much. Thank y'all. You just don't know what a little bit. Darius Carson, man. I call him Baby Bishop. That's my dude. As you see, I'm repping my Cardinals today. I know they've been dealing with a lot of ups and downs throughout this whole season, but it's all about St. Louis, even from Houston. It's all love, baby, all day, every day. You can catch this show right now on YouTube. You can catch this show on my Twitter account at the A-Train STL, and you can also follow me on Facebook. Hey, go to the A-Train Show right now and like the page. You can do that. Don't take long. Take less than 2 seconds to make that work. You can go to the A-Train Show on Facebook, and you can join in on the show right now. Hey, got a special guest with me this afternoon, and she is a reporter, journalist. No, don't let me mess it up. Don't let me mess it up. I know she kind of in the background smiling and laughing and whatnot. See, I know I catch it. She's a multimedia journalist over at 5 On Your Side KSDK in St. Louis. Shout out to my man Art Holiday and Rennie Knott and Anthony Slaughter, man. They've been holding it down. Kelly Jackson, Corey Miller, Ahmad Hicks. Y'all been holding it down over there at Channel 5. And I know Art Holiday is doing a wonderful job as its news director. And with me is my guest at this time, Sydney Stallworth. Sydney, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great. How are you? Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
for
much.
Your birthday today?
You know what? I did a birthday brunch yesterday. It's a spot here in Houston, Katz's. It was fantastic. You know, I might have to go out. Might have to go back again, or just might get a little. I did like a Philly steak omelet. Fantastic, man. It's fantastic with some pancakes on the side. You know.
Oh yeah, you got to go all out. I'm happy to be here with you.
Yeah, you only live once, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, just got to make it do what it do. But glad to have you on the show. I've been trying to get this thing out for months now.
Yeah, we've been trying to get it together. I'm happy to be here and on your special day. So I feel honored. Thank you.
Thank you. It is definitely, it's a blessing to be here for 38th year, you know. Many people look at my eyes and you're old now. No, I'm not.
No,
I'm still
not at all.
All right, Sydney. 5 On Your Side KSDK, St. Louis. But you started in another area that's home to me. Shout out to my people in Huntsville, Alabama. But you started at WZDX.
That's right.
In Huntsville, right?
That's right. We have a couple of mutual connections, huh? Yeah, I was at the Fox affiliate WZDX in Huntsville. That was my first job out of college. And I learned so much there. I really did. And I had never been to Huntsville before I got the job and moved out there. And I didn't know how much I would love it. I really loved living there. It was my first time even really being in Alabama. It was great. I was there for about 2 years.
And so you got a chance to be in a spot, they call it the Rocket City. So what was one of the special places that you got a chance to go to in your 2 years over at over in Huntsville?
We did a ton of stories at the Space and Rocket Center, and I didn't know how interested kids there, were in space. And Space Camp is just the biggest thing you can do in Huntsville. So it's pretty awesome that a lot of the kids there want to grow up to be engineers and working for NASA, and they have these big, huge goals because space is like such a big part of the city. So I really learned like a newfound respect for it. I mean, I lived just at the bottom of Montesano, so I did a lot of hiking, a lot of walking, and there's some scenic places in Huntsville. I didn't know how beautiful it was, and of course that's like a mountain there. They refer to it as a mountain. I've done a little bit of skiing in my past with my family and stuff, and of course it's like a smaller mountain, but it's absolutely beautiful. And I met so many great friends there. There were so many young people working in news at the time when I moved out there. We were all around the same age. There were so many young Black people working in news in Huntsville at the same time. So I met so many girlfriends and guy friends, and those are people I still, hold close. So I wouldn't trade my time in Huntsville like for anything. It was great.
And so also that you mentioned working in Huntsville, you worked there for a couple of years, got a chance to do the scenic route. You did the mountains, everybody talk about the mountains when you go to Huntsville and stuff. So what was one of the best stories that you were able to do when you were in Huntsville? Like something that was, something that will go on your reels for the rest of your life. Like when you, depending on when you want to go out to your next step, what was like one of the pieces that you remember doing in Huntsville?
Yeah, I did this story that it was when I was first starting out with a gentleman who helped expose an anti-interracial marriage law that was still on the books in Alabama that wasn't necessarily being enforced, but it was still on the books. And he did that on his radio show and married an interracial couple live on the air. And he was amazing, so nice to me. Like, we got to speak about, he showed me the newspaper article that was printed about him doing this marriage on air, and he kind of just wanted to shed a light. And there were just so many wonderful Black people in Huntsville. I mean, I did this story with Royal Funeral Home for one of our Black history specials that we did on the show, and they talk about just the respect that comes with owning a funeral home, caring for people as they bury their loved ones, how that is like integral in our culture and in the Huntsville culture too. You know, they talked about how Black people weren't allowed to use, you know, the same undertakers and funeral services that white people were allowed to use. And that's why the Black funeral culture and funeral planning is so rich in Huntsville too. I would never thought that would be one of my favorite stories, but the owners are absolutely amazing. The inside was so beautiful. They had things going back to over 100 years on the inside that they would use to help bury people and care for people. And that was just wonderful. I mean, I did a ton of storm coverage too in Huntsville. I don't know if I necessarily am holding that, you know, dear to my heart because it was wet, it was rainy, it was windy. And those were my first experiences with tornadoes. I'm from Florida, so we are, you know, hurricane preppers. We prep for hurricanes. Yeah. I had no idea how devastating a tornado really can be, seeing it firsthand. It's pretty scary stuff, but yeah, those are my first times, you know, going live, kind of trying to stay out of tornado's path. And, you know, reporting on it right after it touched down, and you see it tear up barns and homes and devastating stuff. So,
City Stallworth
done some more winter coverage stuff here. Not a lot of severe weather tornado stuff. I've done a couple of, you know, moments, but nothing like Huntsville.
Got City Stallworth from 5 On Your Side KSDK St. Louis joining me on this special birthday edition of the A Train show. I appreciate it. So let's move towards St. Louis. So you're coming up on a year anniversary over at Channel 5, and I know a couple of the people there, including yourself. So tell everyone about the journey of getting from Huntsville over to a top 25 market such as St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Huntsville is market maybe around 78, 79. I'm not sure, you know, it kind of shifts every year, but I think it was around 78. Yeah. So it's a mid-sized market, and that was my first job out of school. So I was really happy to get that job. And luckily, I was able to work a lot of positions there. I actually was hired at WZDX in Huntsville as a digital reporter, straight out of school. And I was happy to have a job, you know, like, and the plan was that everything I would do would be strictly for our website. So strictly online. I would turn packages like without a time limit, turn stories without a time limit, and just tell the story in a way that people would like on a digital platform. And so I started to do that, and they basically liked what I was doing. They told me, hey, we're going to start pulling your stuff and put it in the 6 o'clock, put it in the 9 o'clock. And eventually they just asked me if I would like to sign a contract, because when I got this job, that job in Huntsville out of school, it was not contracted. I was kind of just there more or less on a trial position. They asked me to sign a contract and work on air as a reporter. So there I did day side, night side, and then I started anchoring weekends. And before I left, I was anchoring, you know, Monday through Friday, our evening shows. And by that time, I was interested in looking at other options. We work for the same parent company, the Techno station back in Huntsville. WZDX is also owned, you know, by the same company here, St. Louis, KSDK. And so I applied for a couple of jobs. I met Art Holiday, and we just hit it off right away. I knew I wanted to work for him, and magic happened. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of work on his side of things, but you know, I just feel like so blessed to be here. And it is a big transition going from a mid-sized market and that being my first position coming to work here. And I was pretty nervous about it. I was a little torn up about it. I'm not gonna lie. You're probably the first person I've really told publicly about this, but I was kind of freaking out about it.
So our Holiday, who is a gem in St. Louis, like if you hadn't learned about the history of our Holiday in this market, you learned that he's done it all. And what have you learned from Art, being where you are right now? What have you learned and, utilize that into your broadcast?
Oh yeah, let me just brag on him for a minute. Meeting him, I'm yeah, right. I mean, I'm meeting him in this leadership position as our news director. But when we first started interviewing and stuff for this job, I just knew this is a man who really, really cares about this station. I mean, Channel 5 has such a rich history. We're going 75 years. It's our 75th anniversary this year. And it's amazing too, just hearing people who say their parents watch Channel 5, their grandparents watch Channel 5. And he's been a big part of why people love Channel 5 and the morning show that I'm on today in St. Louis. He's awesome. He gives me a lot of feedback. If I'm doing something that maybe he knows that I can do better, he'll let me know. And I'm all big on constructive criticism. If there's something I can improve, I'd love that. And he's like that with all the reporters too. And that's good. We have check-ins. All the reporters have check-ins with him monthly. And it feels pretty awesome. I mean, there are really, honestly, a lot of living legends in the KSDK Channel 5 building right now, as we speak. So for them to see the work that I do and, care about how it looks and offer feedback, whether or not you ask for it, is amazing, because they care enough to let you know, this looks great. This is how it can be excellent. This looks great. You're doing great. Keep it up. You know what I mean? Just small moments like that I really hold dear. So.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to backtrack just a little bit. Got to go over your collegiate education. So I remember I seen a report of yours, and I saw you flashing some love to a HBCU. What HBCU did you go to?
Oh yes, I'm a proud Howard grad. HU, if you're out there and you're in the chat and you already know. Yeah, so I went to Howard. And I feel also blessed to have done that. I mean, it was one of the only schools that I applied to out of the state of Florida. I was just so convinced I was going to a school in Florida. I had everything figured out. And luckily I had a good friend who told me, you should come out and stay a weekend and, come visit, do an official visit, do a tour. And I stayed with her, and literally before the weekend was over, I'm like, I gotta come here. It was probably the best weekend I had had up to that point. I had so much fun. And she was saying oh, I'm sorry. It was raining that weekend. She was kind of apologetic, oh, I'm sorry. The weather was bad and it was a bit of a slower weekend. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm coming here. Yeah, so I signed up right then and there. And luckily I was able to get a scholarship. So yes, a proud Howard grad. I had a great time while I was in school. Absolutely.
Wow. So you did reporting and stuff while you were there at Howard, or did you find a way to break into television while you were there?
Yeah, I actually applied to Howard as a bio major. I was thinking I wanted to maybe go into the medical field. Both of my parents are, have been in that field or are still working in that capacity. And so I was thinking that's what I wanted to do. Even though in high school, I was taking journalism as an elective. I mean, my friends thought I was crazy because I was taking an elective that required more work than our regular classes. But I really enjoyed it. It was really fun for me. And I didn't even last one semester as a bio major, even though at that point you're just taking those core classes. I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to be a journalist. So switched right on over, got into school of communications, and we had Spotlight on our campus, which is student-led news organization. And then by the time you're in your junior year, you're turning packages. So I got to learn from some great people who told me about how to write, how to edit, how to write in a way that people still understand what you're talking about.
Shout out to Dr. Owen Journey, because I'm telling you, and Dr. Brown. Those two professors, I will say flat out back at A&M. And somebody let me know if those that's watching, if they still around, man, because I want to show them, give them their flowers, because they helped me out with diction. Like I could read and whatnot, but it was those type of classes that was helping me with my diction. And you know, you have to, especially in a genre such as journalism, you got to have great diction, whether you writing or you're talking on camera or behind a microphone on the radio. You got to have great diction, because if you don't, nobody's going to understand what you're saying.
That's true. And you know, it's so funny that you say that. I had a mentor back in Tampa. Shout out to him. His name is Rod Carter, who used to work at WFLA. He's in Raleigh now, but when I shadowed him for a summer, one of my first questions was, how do you do this news voice? Like, he just had this voice that was really different from his typical speaking voice. And I was like, who taught you how to do this? And he told me then, he was like, it's just something you find. Just keep reading it how you think it should be read, how you think people can understand it, and then you'll find your news voice. And I feel like mine is like kind of still developing, but I mean, I'm kind of standing in it now. But even just in Huntsville, still starting out my first market out of school, if you were to listen to please don't. If you were to listen though, those are I did when I first, I was like, just burn that footage. But something I did when I first got there, I would not sound like how I sounded this morning on the show, you know, and it just comes with time and just listening to other people who've been doing it forever. And like I said, I'm just in that, blessed in the area where I get to be surrounded by people who've been doing this for almost, 30 years plus, in the newsroom, and listening to them speak and how they deliver. And I kind of just took certain things from that. But yeah, you gotta speak clearly. I didn't always do that. I'm still working on it. I still have a lot of room to grow, for sure.
Absolutely. Talking it over with Sydney Stallworth of 5 on Your Side at KSDK in St. Louis here on the A-Train show. It's my birthday edition, and I was like, let me get Sydney on, man, and talk a bit about what's going on with her. And she's coming up on a year over at 5 on Your Side. So while you've been at 5 on Your Side, I know you have to roam every morning. Like, what time are you getting up? Because you're in the morning, and the morning is not game.
Yeah.
What time do you have to go to sleep? Like, what do you do to prepare to get yourself ready for it?
Yeah, I probably get this question more than anything. So, like now, my shift is over. It ends typically at 11. So when I get off, I have to, the way I do it, I take a nap when I get off, a short one, get back up, maybe work out, watch my shows or do stuff, run errands, and then I go back to sleep. So I split my sleep. So I maybe do 2-hour nap and then I go back to sleep. So I'm probably down for the count around 7:30 on a good day. But I get back up and I get up for my shift at around 1 a.m. My shift starts at 2. So it goes 2 to 11 a.m. And I wasn't always on the, when I first started at Channel 5, I did do the, like a dayside shift, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 for the first couple of weeks. And then they presented me this opportunity to join Today in St. Louis. And at first I have to admit, and I'm so glad that I didn't, miss this opportunity, but I was hesitant because of the hours. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can get up that early. But it was, honestly, I love being on this show. Literally. It's so fun.
Yeah.
And the people
so when you get a chance to sit down on the desk, because I think a lot of people want to get to that stage where they get to be at the desk and, they get to kind of control the broadcast of sorts. What is the feeling like when you get on, when you walking in, it's like, okay, this is my day to be on the desk. So, like, what's the routine for Sydney when she gets ready?
Well, my routine, I go over my scripts a lot and I make changes to make it sound the way I would say it, and once I go back over it, I'm like, okay, wait, maybe that doesn't make the most sense, or to typical viewer who maybe doesn't know the couple of stories that we did before on this, I might have to give some background information. I mean, that really helps, just going over your scripts. And right now I anchor Sunday mornings, and that's always great. I mean, it's just easy Sunday mornings typically, let me knock on wood. But, there are a lot of times where we have breaking news and, gotta go over that if I can, or, be listening to our producers. But the Weekend Crew is great here at Channel 5. I mean, all of the shifts are amazing. The Weekend Crew is amazing. I first started off with Kelly Jackson, who you shouted out earlier, who's amazing. We were doing the show together, and now she's moved to weekdays. And in the couple of months that we did the show together, she taught me so much about how to prep, go over your scripts, make sure you feel comfortable with what you're talking about, just in case, because I've been in places at times where the iPad's maybe not working or the teleprompter is having issues, and it's kind of good to know at least some, what you're talking about, so you can, call out that information. But just a lot of reviewing the information beforehand, and just positive attitude. I don't drink a lot of caffeine these days, I'm not big on the energy drinks and the coffee. I will have a cup of coffee every now and then, but it's really like water. I've been doing cucumber water and stuff, and it's really good for electrolytes. So
really, that's something different. I never really hear many people about cucumber water. So I was about to ask you, like, how are you keeping awake? And you say caffeine, energy drinks, and things that you think cucumber water.
Oh yeah, it's really good. It's good for lots of electrolytes. It's good for your skin. I'm a big cucumber water advocate. I mean, that's not the only thing I drink, but it's good if you do it maybe for a week. Just swap out soda if you drink soda and try cucumber water every time you want to reach for a Coke. It's some good stuff.
I got to do this real quick. Excuse me. I don't know who this person is. He talking about he lucky he changed the passwords out to crash his special. Excuse me, my show ain't dumb, okay? Now listen, I know what I'm doing when I come and do this show, okay?
Right.
So
come on, Jason.
Don't do me. Don't do me, Jason.
Don't do it.
But yeah, see, and then you get people like Jim Harris that say, no, he's smart sometimes. Sometimes you need to be locked out. Yeah.
And you need to be locked out, Jason.
Okay, we'll leave that at that. I thought that was a comment. I guess that's not. But anyway, like I said, we're talking with Sydney Stallworth over at 5 On Your Side, this edition of the A-Train show. Now, I've always wanted to do announcing and stuff, you know what I mean? And like, here's Sydney Stallworth with the 5 On Your Side news. That kind of stuff, man. It's, they used to be back in the day. If you ever go on YouTube and watch old news clips and how they used to introduce people.
Yeah.
That stuff used to get me all the time, man. They just would have like what they call it, the voice box or something like that. Somebody that be at the top and he's letting everybody know who's about to come on and whatnot. Oh, man, I used to love that kind of stuff. But what you're doing now, I don't think you realize, like, you really are impacting the community. Guys, like I said, I've seen some of your community pieces, like what you're doing on education, the HBCU piece. So since you've been there in St. Louis, like, what has been one of your better pieces that you have been able to present on the St. Louis landscape?
It's really interesting that you brought up that piece I did with the Howard students who were here for alternative spring break. That was like a full circle moment for me. I mean, I got to do a story on my alma mater in my new city, St. Louis. And it was also kind of like a little bit of a homecoming because a lot of these students that came here, so for anybody who doesn't know, Howard students every year, they elect themselves to give up their spring break week instead of maybe going to Miami or Panama City Beach or, whatever these days. They go on community service projects, and they came here to St. Louis, and we're doing work at Sumner High School. We're doing work with Annie Malone, and we're volunteering with the kids here in the city to help them with whatever they needed. And so I went out to Sumner High School, shot a package with them. And, at first I was kind of doing, a lot of getting the shots of them doing the day-to-day with the students. And what became so nice is that they actually gave me the chance to sit down with the kids, not just students from Howard, but kids in the summer, high school class. And we just talked about life. They had a lot of questions about college, a lot of questions about being a professional, how it is like in the working world, how I got my job, and just questions about what happens if you go to school and maybe you mess up. A lot of kids had questions about that. And a lot of them thought that maybe they shouldn't necessarily, some of them thought that maybe they shouldn't try, because they just felt like they had to be perfect. And it was so great watching the Howard students too, have a chance to talk to them, let them know you don't have to be perfect in college. Nobody is, trust me, everybody's figuring it out, and that there are people along the way who are going to help you, and that you should absolutely, if you have the opportunity, go to college. And everyone in that room was absolutely capable of doing that. And it was so amazing by the end of our conversation. And honestly, I wish I could have had all of that and just posted the raw footage of that, because it was great hearing them stand up, and everybody who wanted to say something stood up and talked about what they're excited about in their personal lives, what they're scared about, what they want to do, and what I guess is inhibiting them from feeling like they can reach that. And it was really like a group healing session. It was amazing. The Howard produces obviously some amazing alum, and so does Sumner, has such a rich history. So that was by far one of my favorite days at work. And I was there after hours. I was like, I will gladly show up in the middle of the afternoon and shoot this, even though I've been working since 2. I don't care. I'll be there. And then being able to present the story. I had on my Howard sweatshirt. I was there. I was ready, and I was smiling big because it was really a proud moment. Those students are awesome, both at Sumner and at Howard. And probably on the more fun side, in October, I don't know if I would call it fun, but in October, for the month of Halloween, I did this series where I did spooky spots. I went to all the haunted places in St. Louis. Of course, they sent me, the newbie, out there, but I went out there and I went to places like Lit Mansion, the Lehman House, you know what I'm saying? I was out in Oakville, doing a story that there are mineral bathhouses out there with these histories of people maybe dying in the hotels or dying in the, you know what I mean? And they allegedly had spirits there. So I had to, protect myself before I went in there mentally. But it was amazing to hear about all the stories and how the people who own these homes and run these businesses still, they really believe in that stuff. And, they acknowledge the spirits when they walk in. And, it was fun. I don't know if we're going to do it again this year, but, I would love to do that again, too. Because I had a whole list of places to go to. I only we did one a week. So I did 4 spots.
You mentioned Limp Mansion. I know quite as kept. I got a chance to see outside of it. But next door was the Limp Brewery. And inside there, they have a lot of musicians go in and they do their jam sessions, record. We do recordings out there, the podcast there. One thing was the building. The actual building itself is such a crazy ambience, almost like you can feel it. Real talk. There was one day and I got locked in the room. So that night, it was 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Thank goodness somebody was there. I had to knock on the window. They help. Somebody come get me. I'm stuck in this room. Please, I need your help. I will slide the key up under the door, just unlock it, and let me out. Just having that moment. So I was like, I can't get out of this room. So they say that the Limp ghost will be around in the area. So it's kind of an interesting place to be in, the Limp Brewery next door. And they said that everything was underground. So yeah, just a bit of background with that in the mansion. And I know they had to be quite an experience for you.
It was. And I thought, I would go in, I'm like, okay, this will be fun, for Halloween season, just something fun to do. But, you do get the chills. There were a couple places that I was like, okay, well, we can move to the next spot now. Or let's go outside. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get the shots I need and get up out of there. But you really do feel it. And they do ghost tours and stuff. You know, some of these places, they rent out the whole place to people who are interested in staying the weekend, you know, with their ghost hunting groups. And they get footage, they get some action. And I'm like, okay, I'm just here to tell a story. And I'm acknowledging the spirits, and I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna mess anything, not gonna touch anything. You know, that was fun stuff though.
Vinny, are you a screamer? Like, you get scared easily, or it's like
maybe, you know, in Tampa we have, you know, Busch Gardens out in Tampa, our big amusement park, I guess you could say it's big, but so they have every year in October they do Hollow Scream, which is like the Universal Studios turns the whole, you know, park into a haunted house, and you can go into different haunted houses and stuff like that. So that was always fun for me in high school growing up to go to. So if something pops out, I might be able to, you know, contain it. Am I gonna duck? I'm gonna duck for sure. I'm like that one who's hitting the ground, but then once I assess, I'm like, all right, I'll stand up. Maybe I didn't have to hit the ground on any of those stories.
So you haven't. So have you got a chance to? Because I'm gonna move forward a bit. Talk about, you know, being in St. Louis and things that you got to do. Have you got a chance to experience Six Flags St. Louis?
I actually haven't gone yet. And it's definitely on my list. And now would be like the perfect time. It's just so hot, but now would be the perfect time to go. You know, but that's definitely on my list. Like, I know a lot of people do that, and in the summertime they have, like, they go on. My coworkers have been talking about float trips, and that's a new phenomenon to me, because I'm like, okay,
float trips.
Florida, I'm like, I don't get into natural bodies of water like that, because you know, we have our alligator population is just out of control. So obviously, you know, that's not a problem here. So that's on my list of something to do too while I'm spending all my time in St. Louis.
Right. You got to do Anheuser-Busch too. You got to, you know, go and check out the Busch. I don't know if you got a chance to do that yet. Hey, but there is one spot that you can go. I'm a foodie. Okay, you big on food?
Oh yeah.
Try Cafe Piazza today. All right, my people over at Cafe Piazza, 1900 Arsenal Street, corner. 1900. Yeah, I said it right first time. 1900 Arsenal Street at the corner of Arsenal and Limp. You know what I mean? So
you got the address and everything. You must be a regular.
And listen, shout out to my man Tim Meineke, the owner. When I tell you, with a smile, and the service impeccable. I love it, man. Hey, the pizza, amazing, man. Like, get the pizza. Yo, chicken bacon pizza. It's like the Parmesan on top of that. You get Alfredo's too, and then throw that on top. Guarantee you're gonna like it. And the toasted wrap is homemade. You know when you get that marinara sauce, you won't feel it here. You know, you won't feel it at all. So,
you have me at chicken and bacon, by the way. Yep, definitely. Somebody said tell her not to do the float trips. I don't know why. Why? Is it not safe? Okay.
I don't know. I can't call it. I can't call it on that one. But definitely go over there. Cafe Piazza is a wonderful spot to go to, and even if you want to kick back, I mean, definitely it's a good spot to kick back with your friends, because next door they got an arcade and food table. It's like really like an intimate kind of arcade. You can bring your family there too, but you know, Friday, Saturday night, you want to kick it a little bit, you can. And so definitely once you check that out. Real quick, I ain't got a lot of time left for you. What areas in St. Louis have you got a chance to experience?
Have I not experienced yet?
Have you had a chance to experience some areas?
Okay, well, I spent a lot of time down at the landing. I've been downtown. I found a couple of spots I like on the weekend to hang out. I'm on Friday, Saturday, so I get a nice little weekend action there. Down at Del Mar Loop, I love walking around there. I wish I could remember the name of that thrift store out there right now. love it. They have a couple of shops out there I really, really genuinely like. And, I've been out in the Clayton area for dinner, a couple of times. Soulard, spent some time out there. I did go out for Mardi Gras, and that was a time. That was interesting. I will say that it was. There were a ton of people out there, but
is it like that? Is it like that?
Yeah. No, it was a good time. I enjoyed it. One of my friends who used to work at Channel 5, she's doing big things now. She's at NPR, the Tiny Desk concerts. That's all her. She's all over that. And that was her last weekend in town. So
wow.
For us to get to experience that.
That's what's up. So you got a chance to experience the Mardi Gras. That's good.
Yeah.
Real quick, tell our listeners about experiences, like young people want to get into this business, what they need to do now to step in and get themselves prepared.
Okay. Well, full disclosure, I'm still young and I'm still learning every day. So this is my second market. I've been in this business for 3 years, so in a lot of ways it feels awesome and it feels like a blessing because I'm able to be in this market already at the age that I'm in. But I don't take anything for granted. I'm always asking questions. I'm always talking to people who are older than me and who have been in situations that I'm going through before, because that to me is just the quickest way to get a collection of experiences and good answers, solid advice from people who have experienced it themselves. Like I'm still experiencing a lot of things from my first time, in my professional career. And luckily, like I said, Channel 5, I'm surrounded. I have no shortage of veterans in the business who are also kind enough and willing to offer advice when you ask for it. So I say once you get a job, in this business, if you have people around who have been around longer than you, which is, pretty much everybody, talk to them, ask them questions. If you feel like, maybe something about your job you can improve on, if you want them to watch your work, or maybe if you have questions about what comes next for you professionally, I ask those sort of questions all the time because they're where I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be the type of journalist that has the careers that, these people have that I'm working next to. So I ask a lot of questions. I get a lot of advice if I'm not sure. But really just I want to share, I guess what I would say for somebody just coming straight out of college, looking for that first job, I would toe the line of taking sort of the first thing that's offered to you. I definitely had some hesitancy when I was about to graduate, and a lot of my friends had their jobs already lined up and I didn't, and I was getting extremely nervous. I was thinking I wasn't going to be able to get a job in news. I was thinking about teaching English somewhere, and going into teaching.
Wow.
Yeah, I really was. And I was going to be happy to do that because at that point I needed a job, I felt like. And a couple of other opportunities came around before Huntsville, but they didn't exactly feel right. And I remember talking to an older a member of mine who doesn't work in news, but who gave me the advice. There's no shade to this person, but gave me the advice to take what you can get, and I was really ready to take what I could get. But, thank goodness I didn't, honestly, because I ended up in Huntsville, met so many amazing people, got the opportunity to do pretty much every job under the sun. Did digital reporting, dayside, nightside reporting, anchored. I did floor directing a couple of times. I did the audio. We were a small station. I did storm chasing and severe weather coverage, and I would have never gotten a chance to do that if I wasn't there. So, don't take the first thing that comes to you, but also when something comes and it's not quite right, like that job I said in Huntsville at WZDX, it wasn't my goal to be a digital reporter. After I did it, I started to like it, actually. I mean, I would probably do it again in some capacity, but now I'm more focused on other aspects of my career, developing those areas. But there's always room if you're good enough, if you show up enough, if you work hard enough, there's always room to get in where you fit in, and fill in for people and tell people, hey, I'm doing this right now. I'm a digital reporter, but just so you know, I want to anchor. I can anchor, and if you need me to fill in for somebody, call me. So I'm happy that it all worked out the way that it did. I wouldn't change it.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. That is really awesome. I know I keep saying real quick, but it's like every time that you keep mentioning something else keeps coming up. So, you don't have to answer if you don't need to. Let's just like use where you want to be at. Down the road. I'm not saying that. Down the road.
I'm kind of losing your audio a little bit. Can you say that one more time?
Okay. You try that again. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
Okay. So I'm asking, like, is there something that you wanted to do, like later on in life, like if news is what you want to do, perfect. If there's something else that you would want to do alongside news, or news is where you want to be?
The more time that I spend in this industry, the more I realize I think I'm exactly where I need to be right now. I really love my job. I really do. And now, don't get me wrong, there are some days, okay, just like any job, I'm sure, there are some days where it gets hard. You have breaking news, or you're on a story all day or whatever. It can feel like a long day, but I wouldn't rather be doing anything else right now. I do have goals of, I want to work on either like a docuseries or a documentary, and Art is another person, Art Holiday, who I've talked to about that, and he's done work in that realm, and that I feel like is down the road for me. But I feel like the sky's the limit at this point. I never really thought, to be fair, working in news, when you graduate, if you have people around you when you graduate college, they'll be real if they're real with you and let you know, hey, this is a tough business. When you first start out, there's not a lot of money in it, but there are a lot of hours, and it's tough, So I didn't know if it would be something that's sustainable for me. But the more time I spend doing this, and kind of, I guess, the stronger I build my skills, like the more excited I get, because I'm like, okay, this is really a career that I can have instead of a job that I was looking for out of college. I didn't expect to want to be in this business for 30 plus years. And now I want to, which I think is great. So hopefully I'll be lucky enough to, have a career that long.
Absolutely. Well, Sydney, thank you. Thank you for taking time out to come on this birthday edition of the show. And let's keep in touch, and then, we can continue on, and hopefully we can do something good projects. And you are a great talent. I'm seeing it right now. You're doing an excellent job while you're on holiday. You're a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me and sharing the stage with me on your big birthday. I really appreciate it. Honestly, I do feel honored that you wanted me on the show today. That's awesome. Happy birthday to you. Seriously.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone that tuned in to the show. And Sydney, I will get her back on this show again. And we'll see if she gets a chance to check out Cafe Piazza.
Oh, yeah.
I get my boy Tim lined up for you, and I think we can help you out.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Tim. Tim, I'm coming through.
Yeah, I'll send you address and everything, whatever you need.
You got it off the top of your head. I'm like, wow, you must have really spent some time there. And so that's how I know. You said chicken, bacon, I'm in there.
Yeah, the Bianca is called. So think of a female named Bianca or something like that. Okay. It's gonna hit. Yeah, and so he's a sponsor of our show. So
that's awesome. Thanks, Tim.
So definitely make sure you go check it out. And I'll hear that you have a Six Flags story coming up too, aware about your experience and why you ain't doing this. It is a good thing, and progressing. Make sure you keep in touch and don't be no stranger.
Oh, absolutely not. Again, thank you for having me. Next time we talk, I'm sure I'm going to have a whole mess of stories to tell you about all the things that I've experienced and that pizza that I tried.
Yeah.
So that's going to be good stuff.
What
did you say?
Next time you come on this show, we're going to get a little deeper.
Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. All right. I have no problem with that at all. And to anyone out there who's thinking of, going into journalism, if you're watching and you're just not sure, you can do it. You really can. I honestly thought I couldn't, and you can. If you are a hard worker and, you care enough about the work that you put out, you really absolutely can. So.
All right. Sydney, thank you so much. Again, we'll keep seeing you on Vibe on Your Side on the weekend every night when you decide at night.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tune in to Channel 5 and check out our morning show today in St. Louis. It's the best morning show in town.
Yeah.
But it really is. Channel 4 is like, Channel 2. Yeah. Thank you. I had so much fun, and happy birthday again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. That'll wrap things up for this edition of the A-Train Show. That is Sydney Stallworth. Good God, I'm already messing up already.
No, it's all right.
KSDK in St. Louis. Hey, I'm going to try and get some more A-Train shows out there. So thank you for tuning in to this edition of the show. And Sydney, we're on for now.
All right. I'll see you next time. Happy birthday.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
We'll catch you on another edition of the A-Train Show with Arlington. I'm out.